Good morning, everybody, and hello from sunny Ballymena. So I'm checking in here this morning as a follow-on to Dean's sort of introduction to our weekly challenge yesterday. So I'm checking in this morning to talk a little bit more about the challenge and also to tell you what I have been doing with my extra time this morning and how that panned out and how it went. So first of all, is it going to work? Hopefully it's going to work. I'm upstairs because the workmen are downstairs, which is where the Wi-Fi is. There's painters in working on my kitchen, so hopefully this is going to work out okay. So Dean introduced the challenge yesterday really beautifully, I felt, and sort of, made it very clear that this extra time that we are committing to every morning for this week, at least this week, we might carry it on thereafter, is really about setting ourselves up well for the day ahead. Setting ourselves up well and things like setting our intentions. And I love that sort of idea of setting our intentions. And whenever I remember to set my intentions before I even get out of bed, I always find that I have a much better day. And the sort of intention that I usually set, and which I set this morning even before I got out of bed at that earlier hour, was around remaining calm. I have two young boys, Max and Marco, who are 7 and 6. They're very boisterous, very vivacious. The minute they get up in the morning, it's go, 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 go. And it can be difficult at times, or I find it difficult at times, to get that balance between sort of connecting with them and being present with them and what I call marshalling them, so get up, put your clothes on, eat your breakfast, brush your teeth, get your school bag, all of that sort of thing. So that was the intention I set this morning, to be calm and to be present with them. So I did that first thing. And then I'm going to move on to sort of talking about what I'm using this extra hour for. So I normally get up at 7:15, so I got up at 6:15 this morning. And similar to Dean, whenever I set my alarm sort of for 6:15 sort of last night, and even before I set the alarm, I was really quite excited. I was quite excited about getting up this morning early, about having that intention to get up, to do something, to set myself up well for the day. So even sort of the very anticipation of doing that was a great thing last night. I felt good. A couple of things that I made sure that I did in setting myself up well for the morning last night was to get things ready. So I laid the table for breakfast. I also sort of got some stuff ready for the kids. Now I would always have their clothes ready, so they were laid out, but I also put sort of bottles of water in their bags, which maybe I wouldn't have done till the morning. One of my kids takes school dinners, so I sort of had his money already in his school bag instead of scratching around looking for that this morning, which can happen at times, or even forgetting it, which happens quite regularly to me, I have to say. So I was all sort of set up and I was feeling really positive. Another thing, I would normally have a couple of glasses of wine on a Sunday night. Hi, Gay. Good morning, sis. I didn't have them last night because I felt, I want to be clear-headed. I'm getting up early, so I want to be ready. So it was exciting, that anticipation last night, and I hope any of you that are doing the challenge sort of felt the same way. Now, the downside was, in complete transparency, that I didn't sleep very well. I went to bed, I'm quite excited and thinking about the morning, so I didn't sleep that well. And I also, which probably had more of an influence, I ate late last night, which is never a good thing to sort of help me sleep. But anyway, it didn't matter. Alarm went off 6:15. Couple of minutes just setting my intentions for the day around calmness, around peace, around being present with the important people in my life, my kids and my hubby in particular. And then I got up and I sort of got on with things. Now the first thing I did, which is a really useful thing for you to do first thing in the morning, is I drank a large glass of water. I actually went out and sat outside in my pajamas out in the back garden where nobody can see me, sat on the step with a large glass of water, and just listened to the bird song and noticed the birds flying around the garden, you know, felt sort of the sun, even though the air was chilly. And just sat in that moment and drank a large glass of water. We are all dehydrated in the mornings. You've spent 8, 9, maybe 10 hours since you've had something to drink. And through the night, every out breath that you take, you're losing moisture. So you wake up in the morning and you're a bit dehydrated. And what dehydration can do to you is sort of give you brain fog. So our brains are made up of 60 or 70% water, I think it is. So we need water in the cells in our brains. Hi, Dean. So to sort of wake up our brains and get them going. So I sat in the garden, drank my glass of water and appreciated what was around me, a little bit of gratitude. And then I got on with my task. Now, so what I decided to do, now you're going to think, task, is that what you're supposed to be doing? Is it not all about mindfulness and all of that? Well, yes, I loved all of Dean's ideas yesterday about meditation and journaling and doing a mindful walk. And I also particularly loved, Dean, your idea about, you know, planning sort of a random act of kindness for somebody else or writing a note of gratitude. Well, what I have decided to do, and again, anything you want to do that is going to bring you greater peace or fulfillment in your life is okay. I've decided to do some decluttering. So, probably I'm a hoarder, okay? I am a complete hoarder. In actual fact, probably about a year ago, there were still boxes in this house that I had not unpacked since I moved over here in 2008. So, about a year ago, I picked up a book, which I'll just show to you here, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying by Marie Kondo. Now, this was a real bestseller about a year ago. Everybody was talking about it. I thought, yes, I'll pick this up and start tidying. And Marie Kondo has quite a radical approach to sort of decluttering your home, which involves 2 stages. One is discarding lots of things, and secondly, finding a home for everything. So that once you have a home for everything and you only have the things in your life that you need and that bring you joy, you simply put things back where they're supposed to be every time. Now, I did a great start on this about a year ago, and between myself and my husband probably threw out about 10 bin bags of stuff. Now, when I say threw out, it all went to charity shops. But I must have got distracted, and there is still a lot of decluttering to be done in this house. And I'm sort of inspired because my kitchen is being redone at the moment and there's stuff everywhere. And I'm very committed to, when I get to the stage of putting everything back into my kitchen, that I'm only going to put the things that I really love and that I need into that kitchen. But it has inspired me then to have a go at sort of the rest of the house as well. And if we think about decluttering, decluttering your physical environment is a really strong metaphor for decluttering your mind. And Marie Kondo talks about how many of her clients who go through this very radical decluttering and tidying sort of escapade, that's what I would call it, often afterwards make big changes in their lives, big positive changes in their lives. And that's really because she talks about how when we're surrounded by clutter, you know, our cluttered environment means our mind is cluttered and we often can't think clearly. And she talks about how if we have challenges in our lives or things that we need to work through, we often get distracted by the clutter, and the clutter then doesn't allow us to have the space, you know, not just the physical space, but the mental and emotional and maybe spiritual space to work through the things in our lives that would be useful to work through to bring us greater fulfillment. So there is an underlying sort of bigger picture to decluttering your physical space. It's not just about it looking tidy, it's the impact that that has on the rest of your life. So I'm going to move my phone here a little bit just to show you. I have this IKEA unit, this sort of unit here behind me, which has got 12 drawers in it, and it's sitting in my spare room. And it's one of those things that gets filled with stuff, okay? And when I say stuff, it's a case of old birthday cards for the kids, old Valentine's cards I found this morning, you know, between myself and my husband, sort of pictures that were sent home with the kids from nursery, scrapbooks that were sent home with the kids from nursery, all sorts of things. Kids' clothes, you know, some of the nicer little bits and pieces from when the kids were young, I kept them with the intention of giving them to somebody else. Didn't happen. They've been sitting in there for years. Yes, years. So I started working and I have half of it. Okay, I have half of it cleared. There's 12 drawers. I have 6 cleared already. And I had a great morning. Okay, so I had a really great morning because I was coming across all these lovely photographs of the kids and all these memories and really enjoying those memories, laughing like a drain at some of the pictures and some of the little things that they'd written. And there was also a very, very funny card that I bought my husband for his 40th birthday. And it was one of those Moo cards, you know, so there was one that I had got designed online and sent to him. And even that, you know, was brilliant for me because that reminded me of little things that we used to do for each other that maybe we're not doing for each other anymore. And I thought, you know what, I want to do some more of those really nice things again. And you know, even showing that card to my husband when he sort of got up was, you know, funny, and we had a laugh this morning. So we have 6 drawers cleared out. Now you're maybe thinking, it's hard, and it is hard. Marie Kondo talks about this. She talks about how it's hard to clear things that have an emotional sort of attachment, things that have memories. But you know, I have to say, I'm never going to forget my kids. They're in my heart. And I don't, sorry, I was distracted there. The phone rang in the middle of that. It's my builder, but I'll call him back in a few minutes. It can be hard to let go of things that have memories attached to them. But as I say, you know, your memories are in here. They're in your heart. So what I've done is I've just picked out, you know, a couple of things. So to keep and to put in the boys' keepsake boxes. I created, probably about 6 months ago, 2 boxes, maybe sort of quite big boxes that I have kept. One of them for Max, one of them for Marco. And I'm putting little keepsakes in them as I go along. So, you know, out of those 6 drawers, probably there was, you know, I would say 4 or 5 feet worth of things. I'm down to this much, okay? Half for Max and half for Marco. And I'm quite happy to throw out some of the scrapbooks. We don't need all of the scrapbooks that came home every term from sort of their preschool. We don't need all of the cards, you know. I've kept a couple of the funny ones, things like that. So I'm very, very pleased with myself. I'm very pleased with, you know, what has been achieved. I've also had a lovely morning. I've been laughing and, you know, it's been great fun. Showing stuff to the kids when they got up, showing stuff to my husband when he got up. You know, we were all having fun this morning. So what a fantastic way to start the day. So what else? My husband actually is taking part in this challenge as well. My husband is Paul, and he got up half an hour early. He did the half hour early this morning. And he did a high intensity interval training. So he did some exercise, you know. So that's another great thing to do in the morning, to use your time. If you don't get time to exercise, another time is to use this time to do some exercise. And just I asked my husband, you know, before he left, how did he feel, you know, having got up and done that? And he said he felt great, you know, as he was ready for the day, his heart was pumping, his blood was pumping, and he was feeling, you know, really set up well for the day. So that's something else that you could use this time for. Now, the other thing that happened this morning, which was very positive, was we were all in a great humour. There was no shouting, you know, there was no pushing and shoving in terms of, come on, hurry up, hurry up. Everybody was just having a great morning. We all had a fantastic morning, a lovely morning, laughing and joking and having fun. The kids went off in a great frame of mind to school. They enjoyed us being up earlier, so we weren't rushing, and you know, my husband being up earlier, so he wasn't sort of getting out of bed and literally sort of just, you know, getting into the shower and coming down and hurrying the kids out the door, which is sort of what normally happens. So it was a great morning. So looking forward to tomorrow morning, I have to say, to getting the other 6 drawers cleared out, and then I will be moving on to another room to sort of keep going with that for the rest of the week. So have an absolutely beautiful day, everybody, and we will catch up with you again later. Bye.